We begin this hour with some heated moments from a House Intelligence Committee hearing this morning. Republican members of the committee unanimously demanded that Democratic Chair Adam Schiff step down from the position. This comes after Schiff's repeated claims to have evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia were debunked by the Mueller report this past weekend. RT's Dan Cohen joins me live in the studio. Dan, thank you so much for being here. Now, sparks were flying in that committee hearing, and it seems like Russiagate diehards can't seem to let it go.
Yeah, exactly, Ashlee. I mean, for years, skeptics of the Russiagate collusion narrative have been warning that this is going to blow back on the Democratic Party and the left in general, and this is exactly what happened. President Trump this morning went off on Twitter calling for Schiff to resign, saying Congressman Adam Schiff, who spent 2 years knowingly and unlawfully lying and leaking, should be forced to resign from Congress. Now, at the hearing, Ohio Congressman Michael Turner echoed that call and accused Schiff of using McCarthyite tactics, referring to the late Senator Joseph McCarthy, who in the 1940s and 50s was accusing elected officials, members of the military, people in Hollywood of being part of a communist plot. Listen to what Turner said today.
You behave as if your fellow members of this committee are your enemy. You behave as if the president is also similarly your enemy. And in true McCarthy fashion, you act as though you are the only one who is capable of protecting this nation, and everyone else is a co-conspirator who have suspected intentions. Mr. Chairman, I'm asking for your resignation today because I believe you are advancing Putin's work.
Now, Dan, members of this panel, they specifically mentioned this network. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the former ambassador, U.S. ambassador to Russia, Michael McFaul, who has been one of the key figures in promoting this, failed, collapsed Russiagate collusion narrative, specifically mentioned this network, RT and Sputnik, calling us out. Take a listen to what he said.
RT, $300 million budget a year. Sputnik International, very active on American social media platforms. RT claims to be the most watched media company on YouTube today. And all of these organizations were active in influencing voter preferences in 2016.
Now remember, McFaul is talking about the discredited, debunked January 2017 ODNI, Office of the Director of National Intelligence report, which was said to have high confidence but never provided any evidence that RT or Sputnik, actively interfered in the election. So totally discredited.
Now, last night, journalist Matt Taibbi, he talked about the Russiagate narrative with the host of Watching the Hawks and the mainstream media's role in all of this. What can you say about that?
Well, Taibbi made great points, specifically about this phenomenon of journalists relying on unnamed sources in the Intelligence Committee that end up burning them when the narrative falls apart. Take a listen.
Very often you'll see that the attributions go to more than one person. You'll see 4 people familiar with the matter or 4 current and former officials told us today. You have to be extra suspicious of those kinds of stories because that's where the potential for danger is always the highest. It was there with WMD, it was there with Gulf of Tonkin, with the missile gap, you name it. Go back in time. As long as they don't have to put their own names on the information, they manage to get it out there every time. We got to force them to go on the record.
So there you have it. I mean, Taibbi saying that, talking about this Russiagate narrative, how dangerous it is for journalists to rely on unnamed intelligence officials because these sources come back and burn them. And as he said, really have no compunction for the credibility of journalists and what impact that has on the public at large.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Thank you so much for that update, RT correspondent Dan Cohen.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.